Welcome, it's Domain Day from cheapwinefinder.com. Got some lounge music in the background. And we have a affordable but kind of fancy wine. The Pine Ridge Chenin Blanc Viognier White Blend 2020, 80% Chenin Blanc, 20% Viognier. The Chenins from Clarksburg AVA, and the Viognier is from Lodi. Both of those AVAs are in the Central Valley. Almost all California wines from the North Coast, Sonoma, Napa, Mendocino, that type of thing. And then there's Central Coast, which is Monterey and Paso Robles and Santa Barbara. And these are the two oddballs. These are out a little farther out, and the reason they can still be a ways inland is because the San Pablo Bay has this delta region where these rivers and valleys go right to where Sacramento is, where Clarksburg is, and Lodi, and it gives them an opportunity to grow grapes on an industrial scale. Now, this is a Chenin Blanc, and Chenin Blanc's one of my favorite wines, but it's from the Loire Valley in France, which is west coast of France, and though most of the wines of Chenin Blanc are from South Africa nowadays, it's kind of switched over. But it's a really versatile grape. It makes outstanding sparkling wine. It does, like everything Chardonnay does, it can do too, because, Chardonnay is one of the main two grapes in Champagne. It can be unoaked, it can be oaked, it can be anything in between. And that's kind of one of the problems about it. Like, if you buy a value-priced California Chardonnay, you're going to get that certain California style. When you start going up and it get more expensive, they start doing the Burgundian thing, and some of the value-priced ones that do that too. But you're going to get every Chardonnay is different, but you're going to get a Chardonnay, for us as value drinkers, that's going to be something that you can kind of know what you're getting before you get into it. I'm going to take a sip. Chenin Blanc doesn't have that identity. And it's one of the things, you can get one that could be vegetal, or it could be oaky, it's almost, if you get one you like, take a picture of the label so you know what you're going to get, because there is no California style yet. Though Clarksburg AVA, which is kind of south of Napa, well, not kind of south, it is south of Napa, is being identified right now as maybe one of the finer places in the world to grow Chenin Blanc grapes. They're kind of like, this might be a premier area, and it's looking that way. And Pine Ridge is from it's a winery out of Stag's Leap. They do Napa wines for the most part. This is their white wine a project. It's from the Shannon's from Clarksburg, and it's from 10 plots in different vineyards. So it's kind of carefully picked, and then the Lodi does the Viognier. And this is not a blend that you find in France. The wrong side of the country. Like, a Languedoc wine doesn't get poured into a Loire Valley wine. They just don't. Well, they're starting to do that kind of stuff a little bit now. But for the most part, the grapes stayed where they were. So this is kind of a unique wine. We did a Petit Syrah, Petit Verdot, which again is like only going to be in California. I'll take another sip. It's got that acidity that makes you want to take another sip. It sets you up. It got the flavor that makes you go, yeah, let's do this. Let's go for that extra sip. And this is a wine that is made with a lot of detail, with a lot of expertise. The wine group that makes this makes a bunch of high-end wines. You see some wine groups, they own the wineries that are mostly marketing-based. It doesn't mean the marketing-based ones don't make good wine. But this group, the Crimson Wine Group, seems to be wine geeks and not so much wine marketers. And it shows. I've always complained that tasting notes don't tell anything. They tell you what sugar level the wine was picked at, and about the yeast and how it's got some free run juice along with the pressed grape juice. And they go into detail how they made this. What I found for, I think, $11.99. It lists for $16, but you should be able to get it on fairly reasonable certain times of the year. So this is Clarksburg this is from a fancy growing area. I mean, it doesn't, maybe you don't think of that when you hear Clarksburg, but this is a quality wine that just happens to be inexpensive. And it tastes great. It's delicious wine. It's 11.7% alcohol, which is pretty low. They pick it at a point where the alcohol won't get in the way. They want the flavors to come out. And boy, do they. Viognier is a grape that is a single varietal, and it is a blending grape, and it has a great nose. It just smells great, and it has really good acidity. It really gives wine that it's in a oomph. And it's one of the few grapes that actually are in red wines. And it happens in Australia, and it's approved to be in some red wine because it just gives the wine oomph. So this is really good. The Pine Ridge Chenin Blanc Viognier 2020. It tastes delicious. This is for the price, it's hard to get a more delicious wine. Just took a sip, so that's it for me. This is a home run as far as I'm concerned, so keep it cheap until the next time. We'll come up with stuff. October's coming on, Halloween's coming on, so we'll start to have party wines, what have you, and be safe, be warm, and keep it cheap. Adios. Bye-bye.